Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. The only place where someone's crazy enough to play every single video game. We're currently playing the video games released sometime in October 1982.
Put your toes on the edge of that chalk line. I said put your toes on the edge of the...
And we were last on the Atari home computer playing skiing. Of all the games we played for skiing, it's alright. To play our next game, we have to be in the mood for where we're going because it's somewhere completely different.
When the gates break, I shall be there to greet it. Have my steed Shadowfax made ready. Farewell, Pippin.
I go with you, sir.
Then we leave this life together.
Come, let's go and mount our trusty steed, Shadowfax. Our very next game is Shadowfax. For the BBC Micro, I believe it came out here first, but this one's pretty cool. This is the unlicensed Lord of the Rings game, but it's time to go to Middle-earth and play. Let's see what the box is like for Shadowfax. Yes, there it is. Wait a second. If we're playing as Gandalf, where's our beard? Maybe we buzzed it when we became the White Wizard. But you can see they have the White Rider, or the Black Riders, and then some awesome blue flame. And then check out, it looks like we're shooting something from our ring, like a lightning on the front of the box. I'll take it. Down the bottom left, this is by Postern. The very first time we've seen Postern here on the show. There's the cassette we're going to pop into our BBC Micro to play some Shadowfax. This marks our 32nd game we've played for the BBC Micro, or Beeb, if you're cool. And this one was available in a few alternate versions, but let's play the very first time you could ever play this game, I'm pretty sure, on the BBC Micro. This is by Mike Singleton, published by Postern at sometime in October 1982. Way to go, Mike! Oh my goodness! It sounds just like the soundtrack for Lord of the Rings. Oh, and Warren Folks. Way to go, Warren. You are Gandalf, the White Wizard riding against the dread riders of Sauron, the Dark Lord of Mordor. Your mount is Shadowfax, the swiftest horse ever to grace the meadows of Middle-earth. On your ride, you must dodge the enemy riders, whose touch is death, but at the same time destroy as many as you can with your thunderbolts. We get thunderbolts? Okay. So there you go. Way to go, Mike and Warren. We move up and down with those controls. We have shift to fire Thunderbolt and then start. Very, very simple controls. It does say, though, release the fire command just before impact to explode the bolt. So remember, that's the important part here. All right, let's push start and go. And we're in. All right, so there's my Thunderbolt flying across the edge. And what you do is you are holding down, as I die, you're holding down the shift key. When you release the shift key, then the bolt explodes. Look at this death. This looks like a loading screen on the VIC-20 or the Commodore 64. That's awesome. Maybe that's where they got the idea from. All right, let's hit S and go in again. There we go. It resets. Nice. So you have to time your explosion rather than just firing a shot across the screen. It's a trope we've seen before with other shooting games, but it's kind of interesting seeing it done this way. There we go. Oh, you got me again. But it really is one death. Once you die, I don't believe there's lives. It's just keeping track of how many points I get whenever as long as I can go. But you have to be able to dodge the ones that seem to be too close, and then try again. Let's go. Go, trusty steed, go! And the game appears to have crashed on us. Too much power for Mordor. Destroyed the game. Why isn't it going? Well, maybe on Game Over we got to do something different? Alright, I'll just boot it up again and do it again then. Maybe it'll crash again, maybe it won't. Find out today. Yes, literally crashed. I hope not, Russell. That'd be terrible. All right, but you got to admit, the game itself, graphically, looks really, really cool. Seeing the Shadowfax ride on the screen is awesome. All right. Okay, nice. Oh, no! I pushed the wrong key. Because you have to make sure you hit the slash key to go down and then the colon key to go up. All right, I'm going to try again. Hitting S. Okay, it worked. Good. No crash this time. The other thing that's tricky, though, is the game, because I'm guessing the horses are very powerful on the CPU, the game goes from slow to fast. So the timing of my Thunderbolt is really tricky. And keyboard controlled only is a little tricky, too. But you got to admit, the models, Russell, I'm with you. They look really, really good for a horse in a video game. It's awesome. Did it crash again? So you get 3 lives, and then the whole game just crashes completely. All right, just try a few different keys. See if we can get her back up here. Huh? No? All right, before I mash the entire keyboard, I'll just say there's the quick taste of Shadowfax that you could play on the BBC Micro. If it did crash, I'm sure you could reset, but it most likely is just because of the way that we're playing it this time. Now, of all the games you can be playing right now on all home computers, Shadowfax is released in other regions as well. We're going to be playing those 2 tonight, at least the ones you can play in 1982. Now, this is obviously a fixed shooter, but it is on its side, which is kind of a nice touch. We've seen a couple other fixed shooters that are, on their side, and with this shooting trope, it's unique. There's not a lot of games that have this shoot style, but fixed shooters are a lot. This is the 347th fixed shooter we've played so far on the show. And as far as horses go, oh my goodness, can you believe the look of the horse? We played a few games that have some of the best horses we've seen, like all the way back in the arcade. Steeplechase had horses in 1975, and then Hippodrome on the BC 4000 had horses in 1979. Intellivision had horse racing, but the horses were done very well in 1980. But you got to admit, this is really close to Stampede that we had played on the Atari VCS in December 1981. But the galloping horse, that model was done by the cinematographer, Edward Muybridge. And so they used that design to make the horses look so good. All right, so we got lots of versions or ways to play this, but I say of all the games you can be playing right now at this time, it's good. Gameplay itself, though, on the keyboard is a little But so I'm going to say for the BBC Micro, this is fairly average, even though the graphics are not fairly average. Looking over the chat, though, I see 2.5 stars, 2s, so almost lower than average. But I'll be kinder and say, while the keyboard control was a little loose, and because I was showing the crash, I'm not going to say it's that bad. We'll say 3 stars for Shadowfax on the BBC Micro. Yes, the other versions, here they come. Our next version is on the Commodore VIC-20, and let's play Shadowfax and see what it's like here on Commodore. Starting with the box, looks exactly the same as what we saw on the BBC Micro. There's the cassette case and the cassette to play some Shadowfax on the VIC-20. I believe all the ports were done by Mike Singleton. Way to go. There's the example of the screenshot. And then the other versions we have are... Oh, where to go? And we're in! Oh, it's controlled with a joystick. This is awesome. Okay, so I'm using the VIC-20 joystick to play on this, and it's working. Oh yeah, control-wise, it's already worlds better than playing on the keyboard. Yeah, the animation. Look at the animation of the horse with the rider. Even though it's using monochrome sprites, the animation's so good. Yeah. Jeffertainment, it is worlds better than the BBC Micro. But we didn't get the cool opening. You know, the opening of the BBC Micro had the ear-piercing sounds. We got to have that in October 1982. All right, how do we go in again? Oh, that's right, we got to hit S. S! That's how we start a new game. Yes. Oh, yeah, so this is doable. It's still simply a fixed shooter. You move up and down and fire. The fire mechanic is a little more rare than what we've seen. We don't just fire. We got to hold the button down and then release it at the right time. So it's a timing style game, combined with a shooter too. This is also pretty fun because this is the first time we've ever seen anything by Postern for all the games that we played up to this point. This is their very first title, and Mike Singleton, we saw a few games that he did on the ZX81 and Commodore PET. The BBC Micro was the first game he had ever done on that computer, and this is the first game he'd ever done on the Commodore VIC-20. And as far as Lord of the Rings, we already saw official Lord of the Rings with The Hobbit that we played earlier this year. But this is the very first fan game for Lord of the Rings. This one isn't official. Like there's no license or anything tied to the Tolkien estate. Just someone wanting to make a game that takes place in Middle Earth. But it's fun playing a Lord of the Rings fan game. It's not real, but you gotta admit it's pretty cool spending the time to make a game like this when it's not backed by Lord of the Rings. Yeah, what you see here is what you get as far as gameplay goes. Very simple, but because of the controller, I'm actually going to bump this up a notch compared to the BBC and Micro. It's too bad that we did crash the last one, but the VIC-20 version is still really, really fun. It's still obviously a fixed shooter. If you're counting all the fixed shooters we played, this is the 348th fixed shooter that we played up to this point. So there's a lot out there, and I'd still give this a nod over the other one and say 3.5 stars because of the horse animation and because the gameplay is just slightly different. Oh yeah, and for the Commodore VIC-20, you'd have a good time. Yeah, Chiptune's calling it a boring shmup. Maybe it's also the Lord of the Rings fan in me, just excited that we're playing a Lord of the Rings game. All right, but that's not all. The last release is... The final port that was available in 1982 is here on the Commodore 64. The new computer has Shadowfax as well. Let's see what Shadowfax is like on the Commodore 64. This time we got the 3D box, adding more lasers to the box. Good job, Poster, and that's how you do it. And crank up the Commodore 64. Do we have anything? Oh, you just have the back of the cassette case? Ride the mighty Shadowfax in the war against the dark forces of Mordor. Use your bolts of lightning to destroy the enemy, but beware, their touch is death. That's a good way to put it. Once they touch you, you die. That's mostly video games, right? All right, it's time to play on the Commodore 64. It's Shadowfax, again by Mike Singleton, published by Postern sometime in October. 1982 is when this one came out. Yes! And this one, we got to hear the SID chip. Oh, it goes right in the game. It did the same thing as the Commodore VIC-20. It just goes right in, and there's no pushing start or anything. But oh man, the controller. The Commodore 64 joystick works really, really good. This feels, this feels better. The control feels better. We're just improving Shadowfax gameplay over and over again. All right, so as we did before, we got to go in and push S, yeah, to start up the new game. Can I even move left and right? No. It's all about your timing, just going up and down, and then timing the release of the button, holding it down, letting your lightning bolt go, and it's one shot at a time, but done differently than Space Invaders. It's you don't wait until the shot makes contact. It's how long can you go? This reminds me of some of those demos we're going to be playing later on other home computers. That's a feast for the eyes, but the gameplay is minimal. It's lacking. All right, Meebzorp. If we compare to the home console, Stampede would be better. Yeah, gameplay-wise, it has... Stampede would be more fun. I'm with you. And now we get a little bit of scrolling. The other ones that we played up to this point, the ports were just a single background. But the Commodore 64 is just so much more powerful. We can have scrolling trees. All this is one-hit death, though. It's so simple. Oh, and good point. Palpuck, why did they switch the scroll? Now it's even more rare of a shooter. Very rarely do we see a fixed shooter that's going from left to right. Because all I can do is go up and down and fire. Can I go behind the trees? Oh, that's cool. Wait a second. How in the world did you get the animated horses behind the trees? Mike, tell us your secrets on the Commodore 64. People are still getting their feet wet with this home computer, so to be able to program this is awesome. So in some cases, you could just call this, it's like a tech demo, a really cool looking horse. This is the best horse we've ever seen in any video game ever. I gave some examples previously of the horses we've seen up to this point in televisions. Horse racing that we saw in 1980 was very, very good, and then Stampede is another one, but The horse looks really good. The gameplay is very, very simple. Sound effects are done very, very well. And this is also the very first Lord of the Rings Lord of the Rings action game we've ever played. It's a Lord of the Rings game, and you're actually doing action-style gameplay. I don't remember Gandalf doing this in the book and just blowing away tons of the Dark Riders. Go, go, go! Oh, you can still dodge too. So you send out a single thunderbolt, but then your horse can dodge after that. Nice. No way, really, Brian? I like this one. The feel of it is smoother. It's also, notice how many pixels are available on screen because I'm getting a lot more freedom to move around. It felt more confined in the other ones. But how long would you last playing it is the question. Da-dum! All right, way to go, Postern. There you go. That's Shadowfax. All the ports and all the versions you could play up to this point. I'd still say because it's doing something not entirely unique. It's not just a simple one-fire shot. You actually have to release the button. It raises the gameplay just a little bit, but you can tell it's very, very simple. The animation, though, is what's key, and I say the animation is what's pushing this over the top. I'll also say, like the VIC-20, 3.5 stars for Shadowfax. It's an above-average title, just by a notch. Just by a notch. Oh, yeah, that's true. So if you can play it, that's the good point. All right, with that, let's press forward and see what our next game is. We're next going to play Space Ace on the Atari home computer. But it's not the Space Ace that you're thinking about. This is a totally different Space Ace game. Yeah, it's not Space Ace. It's also not Space Ace that we saw on the TRS-80, or the Space Ace from the 70s in the arcade, or the Space Ace for the Commodore PET, or the Space Ace on the TRS-80 color computer. It's kind of like the other titles we've seen that kind of tease us. You think it's a kind of a game based on the title, but it's totally different. We saw a game called Dragon's Lair on the Commodore VIC-20. It wasn't the Dragon's Lair you think, and this is the same. This one's by London Software. This is the third game we've seen by them. It's literally giving us the title in the front of the box. It's a space theme with the Ace card. I know. sorry to disappoint you, Brian. Dragon's Lair and Space Ace are out there, but not the ones you want to see. Yeah, maybe you did, Charlie. Here's the other artwork we have for Space Ace. The ad in the magazine has the other games we've already played by London Software. There it is. Hot Lips and Bumper Ball. Hot Lips was okay. It's a arcade-style game. Bumper Ball was very, very disappointing. You can check out both of those in the links down below for all the games we played up to this point. But let's see what Space Ace is all about. It says it requires the reaction instincts of a pro hockey goalie. It's suitable for all very young children and is aimed at the video game addicts among us. Fans of arcade-style games should find Space Ace both well-executed and challenging. Your ship controls in all directions with your joystick. Battle 5 incredible bogies whose unique shapes and sounds and actions are arcade quality in every way. Oh, and are guaranteed to blow you away unless you are a true Space Ace. $30. And that's... Oh, there we go. The 5 1/4 floppy disk that we would put in our Atari? 5 1/4... Okay. Let's pop in at Space Ace and play. This is by Greg Young, published by London Software at sometime in October 1982. Way to go, Greg. Let's do this. All right, so this one is the 380th game we've played on the Atari 400 and Atari 800 home computer. And this one, I think, has different options, right? Oh, look, we have if we click the option button, our ship goes in and out. If we click select, it shows us what mission we're on. We can do training, patrol. Let's do advanced and start. Go. Whoa, did we just blow up into... Ooh, man, sound effects are guttural. Whoa, so cool. I got a really lucky shot on that one. Something's different with the shot, though. This isn't doing what normal shoot-em-ups would do. Oh, we got to make a barrier through. Nice touch. So we're making our way through to the end. Yeah, the shot is so strange. Okay, so whenever you shoot most games, if you fire a shot, you either have multiple shots before you can fire again. This one's putting a limit on the number of shots I have, which means if I do one shot and then the second shot, it literally is delayed and it doesn't fire again. Sometimes we've seen shooters that allow you to, get close and do multiple shots really, really fast. But look, this one, I'm firing nonstop up close. Hear that beat it's making? It's very, very strange. Weird choice. It's like 2 shots and then I gotta wait a sec. Fire 2 shots, then wait a sec. So visually, this is really impressive. It's a scrolling shoot 'em up going vertical. Looks really, really good for the time. Single color characters over the top. Ooh, nice. You got a few different character types. The spinning one's really impressive for the Atari home computer. And this is also auto-scrolling. This marks the 83rd game we played that's a scrolling shoot 'em up like this, auto-scrolling. And Greg Young is the one that did the other 2 games by London Software. He did Bumper Ball and Hot Lips. So it's this is the 3rd game we've seen that he's done here on Chronologically Gaming. So everything looks good. If you're here on the live show, what you're seeing on the screen looks really impressive. This looks fun. It looks good. But the shot, the way the ship controls is great. But your shot limiting your 2 shots is very weird. It almost feels like there's a lag in the game. Can I hold the button down? Okay, so this is another thing too. I can hold the button down to just auto fire, but the auto fire is delayed too. It's so bizarre. Very strange design choice, and it's bringing the gameplay down because I feel like I'm restricted. I like what the game's given us though. Barriers to fight through, a few different enemy types. What looked like a boss, that was a nice touch. Go, go, go. Oh, gosh. Yes. And yes, Russell, I line them all up because we keep track of all the games on a spreadsheet, the Chronologically Gaming spreadsheet, that has all the information of all the games we've ever played, so that way I can keep track of how many games have we played that are like this, so I can get a closer rating for everything else you can see up or play up to this point. Now, maybe let's switch it up to, instead of advanced, let's do training. Oh, okay, slower scroll. It's still the same shot, though. What in the world? That's so strange. It's not firing really, really fast like every other shooter we've played. I guess we can't take that guy out. So I want to play farther, I want to play more, but the way that you shoot in the game, something doesn't feel quite right about this one. Like it's not finished. You're essentially, we have never seen any video game do this. There is no video game that's a shoot 'em up that allows you to shoot 2 shots and then hesitate, and then 2 shots and then hesitate. So I can do double shot, wait, and then double shot, wait, and if I try to fire faster than that, it won't work. So I just find myself dying so many times just because I've lost the shot. Yeah, so because of that, it's bringing down the fun of the game, even though everything else is awesome. I love the enemy types. Scrolling shoot 'em ups are always fun. But yeah, it's the shot that brings this one down. That's too bad. Maybe we'll play another Space Ace later that's better than this one. So of all the games you can be playing right now across all home computers, everything that's out there, I would say this one is a 2.5 star game. It's subpar, and really it's because that the firing your gun is so strange. Very, very bizarre. Yeah. All right, so from the chat, I see a 2.5 and a 3, or 3.5 from Charlie. Yeah, so the way you're looking at looks one way, but playing it is different. So the way it plays is not so good. Curtis is going 2.75. Yeah, I wish I could. We only do the half-star rating. All right, so with that, we're going to be stopping at Space Ace for this evening. So we're going to put our video game playing on pause right now, because next episode when we do Chronologically Gaming is going to be a ton of space games from October 1982. And what I mean is we're going to be playing just a bunch of games that begin with the word space. That was the beginning. Space Ace was one of them, but there is a lot of games that we could be playing up to this point. All right, I really want to appreciate everyone coming for the live show. If you are tuning in the video afterwards, I also really enjoy all the comments. I try to respond to as many as I can because we get some tips from people, we get some help. Here on the show, I'm giving everyone the first experience of what it would be like to have the game. When you first pop in the game and you play it, what is it like and how is it compared to everything else that's out there? That's really one of the big goals of the show. So some games, we can't do that within a short amount of time. So I love it when the comments have more information about the game or links to where you can go. You can always check the description down below too to see examples of how to see the game on real hardware or other people playing the game, and maybe even some people playing the game as long as in its entirety, just so you have a better idea of what the game's like. So be sure to check those out as well. All right, so next time on Chronologically Gaming, it's all about space. All space games in October 1982. That's it for today, and like I always say, one game to rule them all. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.